I'm not convinced it ain't no acting or accident what the track emits. You strapped with gas that you ain't even practiced with. The fact is, you couldn't hit the...
Welcome to 3-Count Commentaries as we continue our coverage of Wrestle Kingdom. This would be the January 5th Wrestle Kingdom Night 2, a show that was significantly better than Wrestle Kingdom Night 1, but I heaped more on myself than I could stand because I watched the kickoff show, which was a mistake. You know, lessons are learned with pain, and the kickoff show was painful. You know, the first 5 matches on this show, painful. Well, the first 4. First 4 were really painful. All right, so let's get into this. On the kickoff show, match 1, Toge Makabe, Yuji Nagata, Tomoaki Hamba versus Bad Luck Fale, Jado, and Gato of the Bullet Club. Let's make this quick. Hanma defeated Jado, I believe it was, with his flying headbutt thing. I didn't care about this at all. Also didn't care at all about Hiroshi Tenzan, Master Wato, Satoshi Kojima defeating El Desperado, Taka Michinoku, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru, otherwise known as Suzuki-gun. Now, this match, despite the fact that I didn't care about it, it actually had some important storyline development as Master Wato defeated El Desperado. He submitted him with a submission hold. And Master Wato immediately goes from a guy nobody actually gives a damn about, somebody who's completely forgotten after they did the whole Way to the Grand Master, series of vignettes. That I can't believe they did that. They had an entire series of vignettes for this dork. And he came out of the shoot like the Shockmaster. He was absolute dork. He was dead on arrival, Master Wato. In any event, Master Wato and Desperado, of course, were the best parts of this match. Because they actually, Master Wato is a young guy. He can move around. Him submitting El Desperado immediately shoots him into the conversation for the junior heavyweight title, considering El Desperado is the junior heavyweight champion. So I'm guessing this loss served a purpose. Still not thrilled about El Desperado getting beat by this goober. But hey, I got a feeling Master Wato is going to get what he got coming to him. And Taka Michinoku's haircut makes him absolutely ridiculous. He just has no hair on his head except for that one little piece in the front that's sticking straight up. It's just so frustrating. It's incredibly frustrating to look at. He's a grown man. He should do better than this. Match 3 from the kickoff show. Taichi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Doki lose to Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi as Doki gets pinned with Last of the Dragon. I guess Shingo Takagi had to win, and Hiromu Takahashi also had to win. So it's okay, I guess. I mean, this was the less bad of the 6-man tags. This was the less bad of the bunch, I guess, because at least got to see Taichi's entrance. It was pretty cool. All right, so the main card. We start out Raw. Boy, Tiger Mask 4 and Robbie Eagles defeat El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori, as well as Ryuki Taguchi and Rocky Romero to maintain the junior heavyweight tag team championships as Robbie Eagles submits Rocky Romero. I told you guys before, Robbie Eagles is one of the most boring dudes to ever exist. He's not a bad wrestler. He just has no personality, and it doesn't come out in any kind of way when he's working. He does moves well. He executes moves well. Same thing can be said for Tiger Mask the 4th. His moves are not bad, but I just don't care. El Phantasmo, same thing. I just don't care. Rocky Romero and Ryusuke Taguchi, I don't care about them at all. But my boy, the Bone Soldier, he should be the one in the conversation to be junior champion again. Not Master Wato, but whatever. I mean, I'm fighting an uphill battle on that one. I guess Ishimori has kind of climbed that mountain so many times, and he's so damn small that he can't possibly go up to heavyweight because he's short in addition to being skinny. But he's very muscular though. Jeez, I mean, Ishimori is dope. He's a very mean looking kid. Even though I know he's not a kid, he's a grown man, but he looks like a kid. And That's really sad. All right, so they had the Stardom special match. Saya Kamitani and Tam Nakano defeat Mayu Iwatani and the Starlight Kid. I've heard a lot about Starlight Kid. Never actually sat through an entire Stardom show in order to get to a Starlight Kid match. Of course, I am familiar with Mayu Iwatani. I've seen some Stardom before. The other two girls, I am completely and totally new to them. This match was good. It definitely was good because it broke up the monotony. You know, when the girls come out, they're very colorful. They're very energetic. They're very aggressive. They execute their shit really well. They all have personality, and as far as they jump off the screen. But I just will never find myself watching an entire product of Joshi Pro Wrestling. I just can't do it. But if you put them in the right spots, they can break up the monotony of guys like Robbie Eagles and shit like that. They actually overcome that pretty well. So give the girls their credit. They had the first really good match of the night. So I enjoyed that tag team match, and I was able to enjoy it without knowing anybody in it. So that was cool. And then we went right back into the shitter because Shima, Chase Owens, Toru Yano, and Minoru Suzuki had the King of Pro Wrestling 2022 match. Minoru Suzuki defeated Yano with the Gotch-style power driver. Apparently, this belt has been around for like a year or so, and only two people have ever won it was Chase Owens and Toru Yano. Don't care. But now Minoru Suzuki has it, and Suzuki hates Toru Yano. He's trying to kill him, so he put him in a chokehold even after he beat him for the trophy. It's not a belt; it's a trophy, I think, which led Toru Yano to handcuff Minoru Suzuki to the top rope. And Minoru Suzuki is now doing comedy with Toru Yano. Whatever. I couldn't stand this. I'm telling you, giving Chase Owens a check is a felony. I'm sorry. He's doughy. He's boring. Why would you ever? Why would you ever? All right. So the fourth match on the card, Yoshihashi, Hiroki Goto, and Yo challenged House of Torture for the Never Openweight Tag Team Championships. House of Torture is Evil, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. Sho is again obsessed with the wrench, and he's going to hit this guy with his wrench. Once again, Yo kind of avoided getting hit with the wrench. This is really crazy. But at least Sho won this time. Sho pins Yo to win this match. House of Torture regained the Never Openweight Tag Team Championships. Well, they retained them. I shouldn't have said regained. Afterwards, House of Torture jumped and stomped on Yo until Tomohiro Ishii came out there and helped the good guys run them off. Okay, whatever. I don't care about that. Then we got a bunch of guys from Noah. They come into the ring, and this is for our angle because they are building the big third night of Wrestle Kingdom, which will take place on the 8th. And it will be Noah versus New Japan. So the entire Noah roster, featuring Merufuji, Go Shiozaki, and the Great Muta, Keiji Muto, they're all out there. And they come out there to cut a promo on New Japan. They say that the great battle between New Japan and Noah is all about who's the top pro wrestling company in Japan, who's number one, Ichiban. Then he says that he noticed all the empty seats in the crowd, and Noah is here to help fill those empty seats. The commentary is like, oh, the seats are empty due to COVID restrictions and everything, and Noah is playing the heel in this situation. Shingo Takagi came out there. He's the spear of New Japan, apparently. He said that these guys have nothing to do and they have nothing really to gain from this, but on the 8th, they will show them the difference between New Japan and Noah. The talking guy, who I can't remember who was talking, but said that Noah came to pick a fight and Shingo dares back away. And he said they're coming to prove that they're the elite pro wrestlers in Japan. Shingo thought about getting in the ring, but the entire Noah roster was in the ring and he was really willing to fight all of them. Los Ingobernables de Japón considered coming out there and helping them. They came to back him up, but he decided, not to fight the entire Noah roster, and that it wasn't smart to do so. So this was okay. I like the angle. It feels interesting to have a Wrestle Kingdom that features Stardom and Noah. That's that goes to show how much New Japan is starting to feel the burn of losing a lot of talent that they've really relied on over the years. In my previous video, when I talked about Wrestle Kingdom, how New Japan kind of crumbled after losing 4 key talent. Only I mentioned Chris Jericho for some reason, but I really should have said they lost about 8 because they did lose God. They're not there. Jay White is also not there, and there's some other people who are not in Japan. So it was more people than I would give them. I'll give them a little bit of credit by saying it was more people than 4. It was more than just 4. But there was a lot of people that kind of stopped watching New Japan once Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks left. I mean, that really did a lot of damage to the brand. I'm not sure. But they're focusing on their home market in Japan with this Noah stuff and then Stardom stuff, which is fine. It gives Western audiences that do like it, giving them more exposure. But I would imagine that a lot of people who watch New Japan, if you're a Westerner and you like New Japan Pro Wrestling, you probably already watched Noah. You probably already watch a little bit of Stardom. For me, it was just kind of cool. It's not something you would see WWE do. It's definitely something you would have seen AEW do. And to be quite honest, I remember somebody saying to me, like, when they shouldn't have done that with a Ring of Honor. Shouldn't they have had like a Ring of Honor invasion or a Ring of Honor versus AEW show? And I think that would have been a nice little series of TV shows if they could have done with Ring of Honor versus AEW. That could have been nice. Couldn't have got away with a pay-per-view doing it, but a series of TV shows, maybe 4 shows, 2 Rampages and 2 Dynamites that featured AEW talent versus Ring of Honor talent, that could have been dope. You could have spent almost a whole month on that. That could have been fun. But, they didn't. The forbidden door is closed currently. Now, the only people who are coming in are people that Tony Khans are actually signing. All right, so now we get into the better part of Wrestle Kingdom, which is the actual matches that matter. Even though some of them are storyline based, and I don't really understand the storyline. So, in an okay match, Sonata defeated the Great Okan by countering the Great Okan's face palm slam. He does a almost gas mask, like where he puts his Von Erich claw over your face and picks you up and slams you down. And Sonata countered it into a roll up. The match was fine. Sonata has definitely had better matches than this. Great Okan, I'm just really sitting on the fence with this guy. I won't say that he sucks. I'll just say that I really haven't seen him stand out, and he just comes across as just another guy in Japan. For some reason, he reminds me of that Japanese guy that was in WWE in like 2004, 2005, Kenzo Suzuki. He just reminds me of that guy for some reason. Like, the guy wasn't horrible, but he wasn't very good either. He just kind of existed. And that's just kind of how I feel about Great Okan. He just exists. Now, slightly better, but still only okay, Jeff Cobb, Tetsuya Naito. This match was all about Jeff Cobb showing off his strength, as almost all Jeff Cobb matches are about. But I liked this spot where Cobb rammed Naito into the ring post in a suplex position. I think he countered Destino into a suplex position and kind of just backed, Naito into the counter again and again. Naito spent the match working on the thick legs of Cobb with submission holds and stuff like that. So it was cool. Naito didn't completely sleepwalk through this match, but he didn't put in maximum effort either. So this match was pretty good. He won with Destino. This was the second match on the show where I was kind of like, oh, I didn't feel like I was completely wasting my time watching it. So that was good. All right, so match 7, Kenta versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the United States Championship. This match was no disqualifications. Now, before the match even got started, during the introductions, the American commentator, who is not Kevin Kelly, I have no idea who this guy is. I did not commit his name to memory. But he is talking about if this match, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kenta, had taken place in 2012 at the height of Hiroshi Tanahashi's IWGP championship run, this would have been a dream match. But time has weathered both of these guys. And I'm just sitting here like, he is literally just saying these two guys are washed up. And like, this is the co-main event of the pay-per-view. This is the co-main event of the show, and you're telling me, oh yeah, this match would have been great 10 years ago. I'm sitting here like, for fuck's sake. Yes, I know that. I'm watching Tanahashi limp to the ring. I really am. And you're sitting here telling me it would have been better 10 years ago. You're telling me how washed up they are now. Thank you. I really feel like you're respecting my time with this one. I obviously know this match would have been better 10 years ago. I don't need you pointing that out. All right? Thank God. Fuck. Come on, guy. You got to be smarter than this. Any competent, even fucking Excalibur from, AEW would have made this sound like it would have been a dream match or something that everybody's been waiting for forever. Like this match would have been a dream match. Everybody's waiting on this. People would have been the most biggest dream match in all of Japan in the history of our sport. And people would have been like, okay, Excalibur, calm down. But that I would have dealt with that because at least he's trying to hype the match up and get you excited to see it. This guy's about to remind you how depressing watching Hiroshi Tanahashi limp around the ring is. And guess what? He set the fucking stage because this match was depressing as fuck. It was a weapons match. Look, I get that the match was no disqualification. Okay, cool, whatever. But they didn't do any wrestling whatsoever. They instantly started grabbing kendo sticks and kendo stick fighting. They started hitting each other with weapons. Hiroshi Tanahashi can barely move. He hit this guy with a guitar. It was fucking hilarious. They did a sling blade on a stack of the chairs by Tanahashi onto Kenta. Kenta did a stack of chairs into the corner. He did a running drop kick on them. They pulled out this gigantic ladder. It was a really big ladder. And it was broken. So Kenta had to take forever to reset this ladder so that it'd be safe for them to use. It literally took him forever to do it. He's just trying to build this fucking ladder, put the ladder back together. So he climbs the ladder. Tanahashi, of course, shakes the ladder. It falls down. Kenta comes off the top of the ladder. His face hits the end of a garbage can that's in the ring. Splits his shit wide open. Now Kenta's face is open and bleeding. It's really bad. Tanahashi picks him up, places him gently on the table. Small table that Tanahashi can lift with one hand. That's how small that table was. Tanahashi then climbs all the way to the top of this big ladder, hits the high fly flow, and wins the match. I said to myself, I love the Ace. I truly do. He's my dude. This was not his best effort, obviously. This is not really what I want to see from Hiroshi Tanahashi. I really don't want to see him hit people with guitars and chairs and shit. Not really a fan of that. But I understand. He got physical limitations now. But he wins the IWGP United States title again. I think that they really should. I don't know if they want to. I'm not saying force him into retirement. I know that the early part of the show still had Yuji Nagata and Tenzan and all those guys. They're still around. These guys hang on forever. I'm not saying all of a sudden Tanahashi he should be in that class. But if he can't really go, if he's still injured, he's still in great shape. Don't get me wrong. He's not flabby and sick like some of those other guys are. But if he's so busted up he can't work a match, I don't know if this is the best thing for us. I would rather he walk away while he can still, and he seemed to hurt his knee when he did the high fly over the top of the ladder too. I don't know if he was selling or if he legitimately hurt his leg. But I think that we should really consider letting Tanahashi pull back. I know he's already pulled back a little bit, but maybe we ought to do with him what AEW is doing with Sting. Just make him the tag team partner of some young boy, and that's really what his role should be, is that he should just be a tag team guy, and he should do like high level tag team stuff so he won't have to do so much work. I think he deserves that. I really didn't care to see Tanahashi getting hit with shit and, jumping off ladders and stuff. That's not really all, that shit kind of upset me. It reminded me a lot of when I used to see Undertaker stumbling around the ring. It was like, nah, it's not good, man. I don't want to see that, I got too much respect for Tanahashi for that. And I know he was trying. He really tried. But every time I see him work a singles match, I see him trying really hard. And sometimes it comes across where there's a little of the old magic still there. But for the most part, he's limping during his entrance. Like he can barely get through the entrance. And that's sad. At least Undertaker can get through the entrance. For fuck's sake. Come on. The main event of the show, best match on the show, easily. Kazuchika Okada defeats Will Ospreay to retain the IWGP World Heavyweight title. This match was full of crazy spots because it's a Will Ospreay match. He's a get your shit in guy. He's going to get his shit in, that's for sure. But he did a moonsault off of a pillar, kind of a thing outside the ring where you can climb it. It's I think we've seen Io Shirai do it in NXT, so he did that. They were outside the ring forever, but this is the main event of the biggest wrestling event outside of WrestleMania, so he's not going to get counted out. He did a moonsault off of that. That was pretty cool. They did a spot where Will Ospreay was standing in the middle of the ring, then he ran to one side, bounced, started doing a handspring, did a handspring outside the ring. Okada caught him and tombstoned him on the floor. Now, of course, this match continued for another 15 minutes after this, but it was a cool spot. This is what I mean by Will Ospreay sucks. Like this is bad psychology. He got tombstoned on the floor. 10, 15 minute more match left, and whatever. It doesn't matter. Will Ospreay is very fast. He's very fluid. He's a spot monkey though. It just is what it is. Okada wins the match with the Rainmaker. Right decision to keep the belt on Okada. Nobody likes Will Ospreay. He sucks. Now, of course, the question is, where do you go from here? Which is always the question for New Japan. They always keep moving. So Tetsuya Naito came out there and challenged Okada for a championship match, which Okada accepted. So Naito is next. That's fine. So all in all, there was about 4 matches on this 8-match show that I really liked. I liked Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay. I thought that match was really good. I liked Jeff Cobb versus Tetsuya Naito. I thought that match was pretty good too. I like the girls, Saya Kamitani and Tam Nakano versus Mayu Iwatani and the Starlight Kid. And I'll give a passing grade to Kenta versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, even though it's not really what I wanted to see. It's not what I was expecting. But, it wasn't horrible garbage. It was just, the ace out there hitting people with weapons and stuff. That's not really what I wanted it to be. I just kind of was looking forward to a more traditional wrestling match that would kind of devolve into fighting rather than these guys are fighting from the beginning. So ultimately, this was definitely better than night 1, but that was an easy hurdle to jump over because night 1 was absolute booty butt cheeks. And it was hard to get. Oh boy. Night 1 was tough. Night 2 was infinitely better. So I guess I'll check in on New Japan again later, maybe around the New Japan Cup. I don't know. I don't remember when that is. I think it's in the summer. Unless something else happens that is worth me looking at, I probably will be watching New Japan for several months. I have zero to little interest in Okada versus Naito. It feels like these guys have been wrestling in a circle for months now. Maybe I'll watch when Ibushi comes back. I don't know when he's coming back. If he comes back sometime soon, maybe I'll watch it then. If something interesting actually occurs, I'll, probably take a peek then. But other than that, this is going to be the last of New Japan for a while. But thank you guys for your time. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Please hit the like button. I always need more likes. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.